Hey guys, what's up? It's Ronan, the Chaotic DM. Thank you all for coming today. If you are new to my channel, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. Today we're going to talk about something that was requested specifically by one of my players, which is the lore of Argynvost. So to give you a little backstory, my players are currently in Argynvost, or at least some of my players in one of my games are currently in Argynvost. And one player in particular, my tiny little kobold, who I always say is about the size of a toddler, like a 2 or 3-year-old. He's a very small little boy. He comes into the town and sees the statue of Argynvost and immediately goes, "I'm gonna worship that guy now." And I was like, "For real?" He's like, "For real, I'm gonna worship him." And I was like, "Okay, cool." So I was like, "This is gonna be a whole thing. It's gonna be super fun." And then I asked them, "What should I do a lore video about?" And he was the only one who responded, and he goes, "I want to know more about Argynvost." And I was like, I can do that for you. So here we are talking about Argynvost. So Argynvost is actually really cool. And again, like I do with all my things, I rewrote it because I want it to be a different place from what the players are used to. I wanted it to be more almost like a safe zone for them, depending on how they decided to handle things once meeting certain individuals. So last game, they actually met a group who they originally thought was a cult, and I thought it was like, oh no, they're gonna start a fight with these guys and it's gonna end really badly and then I'm gonna be sad. They didn't, though. They decided to go diplomatically, which was amazing. So let's get into it a little bit. The backstory of Argynvost. So the city of Argynvost, or Argynvost Holt, being the actual main center of the town, is a large castle hold, which namesaked after Argynvost, the silver dragon. So let's get into a little bit about talking about who Argynvost is. Now, Argynvost has been a thing in Barovia for a very long time. At least the way I put it in there. Basically, I had it where Argynvost came in when Strahd kind of first began taking over the kingdom, and he wanted to prevent evil from being spread. And he originally, in the book, it says that he was trying to keep the evils of the Amber Temple contained. Now I've changed that a little bit to he was trying to be one who was trying to keep Strahd's evil contained and from spreading across the world. This was pre-Barovia becoming a pocket evil, scary place. So he came in as a way to try and shut down Strahd before it got too far and before he could basically take over everything. Because Strahd, if he was given the chance, would have sought out world domination, essentially. And so Argynvost came in to try and stop that. But he came in disguised as a man, which he went by Sir Argynvost, which was really, really cool. And as you saw at the beginning of the video, I put some pictures of Sir Argynvost. And it basically, he gathered followers, brought an army with him, set up a castle hold before, fully deciding to set siege upon Strahd himself, which created obviously a huge war. And I haven't really come up with a name for this war yet. Still working out the kinks. For right now, I'm just referring it to as the Great Barovian War. So this is back, again, several hundred years ago when Strahd was first taking over. And basically, it created this massive war. In the Battle of Argynvost, there were, possibly the Were-Ravens were involved, Order of the Feather, possibly factions of the Vistani. Probably not factions of the Vistani, though, because that's a whole other thing. But maybe the Were-Ravens and other various folk were integrated to try and stop this from happening. And there was a massive battle, and unfortunately, Argynvost was beheaded in that battle. So his path for saving Barovia was halted when he was beheaded, and his order was basically killed off. Now, his order remains in Barovia. How could this be? Well, it's because they are officially undead. So it is kind of like culty, but it's not culty because they are an order of knights. Now, the Order of the Silver Dragon, as it's called, or the Order of the Talon is another name that it goes by. They are still to this day trying to go against Strahd, but they do not have the power anymore with their main man, Argynvost, being eliminated. And Argynvost, when he was beheaded, his skull was actually taken back to Ravenloft. Now, this is when I also tie in the Vistani. So the Vistani is a whole other video that I'll get into, but they essentially helped Strahd and rescued him off the battlefield when all this went down, because this is before Strahd came fully into his power and realized, like, this was basically the battle that made him realize he needed more power, which is when he sought out and made a deal with the devil. It's pretty great. But anyway, so Argynvost is the remnants of that city that was originally built by Sir Argynvost, the Silver Dragon. So a lot of it is, I pitched it to be a very pretty place, a very nice place. It's very calm and tranquil and beautiful, filled with flowers, because I wanted, again, to create a safe zone for my players to be able to, relax a little bit after months of living in the dangers of Barovia. So they are currently in Argynvost, and they have finally gone to Argynvost Holt for a town meeting. Now, Argynvost Holt does have remnants still of the damage from battle. It has not been repaired. But overall, it still looks pretty nice. I posted a picture of that as well at the beginning of the video, so you can kind of see what the players see. Again, I made it a lot more cheery. I just kind of did that as reference. So there's this massive castle, Argynvost Holt, and that is where the Talon, or Order of the Silver Dragon, to this day still resides. Now, there are only several members of the Talon still remaining. The rest lie in wait, in sleep. One of them being Sir Godfrey, who in the books, it can be either an attack situation or, what have you. I had it as the players see a summons to a town meeting. Not exactly a summons, but an announcement on a board in the tavern, the Blossom Inn, to go to a town council meeting. So they decide, let's go see what this is all about. And so they go to the town meeting, which is where it gets fun. Because I also have a spellcaster with them in the Order of the Talon. Because, of course, they wouldn't just have, like, knights. They'd have, wizards and sorcerers and magic users and all that good stuff. Anything you would find within a normal D&D group. And so this spellcaster starts putting all the townspeople to sleep for their secret meeting. And one of the players was smart enough to say, oh crap, what do I do? And they don't have, anti-magic. So he just decides to send a message to this man being like, hey, we're with you, we're on your side. Let us be part of this meeting. And they do. He successfully convinces them. And it was pretty cool and fun. And so now they are basically part of it and introduced into the beginnings of what is the Order of the Silver Dragon. And they were told to come back at dawn for a meeting to actually converse with them and to be filled in more. So the Order of the Silver Dragon is, to this day, still working in Argynvost, working with other allies to find a new way to take down Strahd now that he is exponentially more powerful than he's ever been. And so it's really interesting. There's not, honestly, a lot of lore for Argynvost. This video is a little bit more challenging than my other ones because I usually have a lot to work with. But anyway, when Argynvost was slain and his skull was taken, there's a beacon of Argynvost, and it was lit as long as Argynvost was alive. But once he was beheaded and his skull was taken, the lights went out and Argynvost went dark. And it basically threw the whole city into chaos for a little while. But the Order of the Talon kind of stepped in, or Order of the Silver Dragon, the Talon, as they call themselves, because there's the Order of the Silver Dragon, and then there's the Talon, which are like the agents of the Order of the Silver Dragon. So the Talon kind of took over the town to maintain peace and to reestablish order within the town post Argynvost being killed. And so now the plan will become they're going to now contract the players to go and rescue the skull of Argynvost from none other than Lord Strahd. So this is where it gets interesting, because it's making it to where the players have no choice but to return to the castle. I've given them multiple ways where they have no choice, they have to go back to the castle. So this is just one of the ways where it's like, if you want to complete this quest, you have to go back to Ravenloft. Which the players don't want to do, because their first time in Ravenloft was a rather traumatizing event. And it was scary. And, death lives around every corner because there's vampires everywhere. Beside the point. So now they have a true motivation, or they will have a true motivation to go back to Ravenloft. Because right now, They are just trying to keep Irina away from Strahd, which, whole other video. I will get in. I got a little bit into it in my Curse of Strahd lore video. We can get more into Irina herself in another video. But basically they're trying to play keep away. And so they have no motivations to go back to the castle. So in essence, I'm trying to give them motivations to have to go back. And the Skull of Argynvost is a great way to do that. So if you're trying to figure out, how do I force my players to go back to Ravenloft because they don't want to? Argynvost. It's a great tool. Because now they have a safe zone of a city before they go into the horrors of Castle Ravenloft, if they haven't been there already. I recommend you at least send your players there once, so that they're not just like, oh yeah, we'll go storm the castle, blah, blah. Make them scared. Make them very scared of Castle Ravenloft. They should be terrified. It is like a 7-floor castle of insanity. They should be scared. It's great. Make them fear. But now I'm kind of forcing them to have a reason to go back, because otherwise they wouldn't. They would want nothing to do with it. But in order to basically in order to release the undead, basically prisoners, who are the Talon, in order to release them, the beacon needs to be relit to reestablish hope and protection for the peoples of Barovia. So it's a really cool way to kind of implement that and bring them back to the castle without having to force it too much. But anyway, getting it back into the good stuff. So there's Sir Godfrey Gwylin is a member of the original Order of the Talon before they lost their way and became Revenants of the Mist. And so Sir Godfrey's quest is now to help anyone who comes in to defeat Count Strahd and to basically avenge his master Argynvost. And the Talon is a really interesting group. From one of the sites I found, they have a motto saying, "Purpose will not find you, you must find your own purchase," which is kind of cool. I like that. And the Talon's beliefs, just a summary, they go by their word. If they promise you something, if they give you their word, they will fulfill it, because they're the greatest cardinal sin for them is breaking your promise. This one's kind of funny. It says, "Pain is gain, but give back tenfold what you owe," or what is owed. So basically, if someone harms you, you're going to go and really just mess up their life. And then there's worthiness is found equally in challenge as in reward. So they really do take of, in order to be worthy soldiers, they have to, do battle and fight evil and do their absolute best. So they will now, it'll be interesting because they've met with Von Richter previously, who said that he would try and get them allies. And I basically gave them another chance to say, here's some allies. Now, will they join in the final battle? No. But they will help the players along the way by providing an area of sanctuary for them, for sure. Maybe they'll come up in the final battle. Maybe Sir Godfrey will come with them. Who knows? They're kind of on an ally collecting mission right now. So there's all these really cool things of the Order of the Dragon. And they offer various services for mercenary work. In the book, in mine, it's more like Sir Godfrey kind of stays in the castle hold and runs the city in order to maintain peace and tranquility. And so he's kind of there, and I have it to where him and 2 other knights are always wearing a robe with covering of their faces, and it's magical. So no matter which direction you look at, you can't see their faces, because they're trying to hide from the rest of the city that they are in fact undead. Because imagine you find out your city leader is a revenant. Probably wouldn't want to follow them anymore. So I changed it a little bit to make it more believable of here's how they've been able to maintain control of the city for as long as they have, is by hiding the fact that they are in fact undead beings. And probably every so many years, as much as a human life, having a funeral for the previous and then inaugurating a new one. It's really just Sir Godfrey all along, which I think is hilarious. And it's a good twist of being he's been alive so long that he just basically has faked his death 100 different times in order to maintain a structure of peace within Argynvost. But that's about all I have for you. I will probably make more videos on this later. But that is Argynvost the Silver Dragon and his followers, the Talon, aka the Order of the Silver Dragon. If you enjoyed the video, please like, subscribe, drop a comment down below. Let me know what you want to see next. Let me know what you thought about this video, and I will continue putting out the good D&D content. But until then, happy gaming.